What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we got a story time of an emo kid who runs a emo kid mafia at his school, and it's both very hilarious but also very cringy. So leave a like on the video right now to claim your free nothing. Subscribe to the channel with notifications on if you are new, and with that being said, let's jump into this story. Anyways, right, so we're gonna call the subscriber who submitted this story Tom. So anyways, right, in Tom's school, there was a group of emo kids, and there was a main leader. So, okay, there was an emo kid mafia type thing. I know the sentence that just left my mouth makes absolutely no sense, and trust me, it low-key made absolutely no sense to me too, dude. Anyways, though, so yeah, there was an emo kid mafia at Tom's school. And the ringleader, the Don of the emo kid mafia, we're going to call this kid Ben. Yeah, so anyways, every single day, right before class, so like kids would get into class, like, I don't know, 5 minutes early or so, or like the first period class or whatever, the teacher was always like a little bit late for some reason. So right before the teacher got in, the emo kid and his little henchman or whatever would walk down the aisles in class, basically demanding money for protection from everyone else in the class, which is kind of funny. Like, bro, they're actually using like the 1960s like Italian mafia strategy of like, I'm going to give you like actually doing a protection racket. Basically, they say, we're going to protect you. And the whole idea was like, it was implied that the emo kids were going to like beat up anyone who like doesn't get the protection. So you're basically selling protection against yourself. But the thing that makes this a little bit different from your standard protection racket when it comes with the mafia is if you didn't get the protection from the actual mafia, then you'd actually suffer consequences. But bro, this is a group of nerdy emo kids, dude. Like, I don't know how to say it. And by the way, if you yourself are like an emo kid or you dress emo, I honestly don't care. Like, no disrespect to you. Like, we all do whatever. Like, we like what we like. But please don't act like these kids. Don't be cringe. Yeah, but the difference between, like, you know, the protection racket of like a 1960s mafia, whatever, and this was, bro, emo kids ain't doing jack. I don't know how else to say it. Like, these kids are literally not going to be doing anything. And if they do, what are they going to do? Like a Naruto spin attack and then just fall over from like exhaustion because all they do all day is like write poems about how evil the world is and watch Death Note. Great series, by the way. And just like stand in Hot Topic, like loitering. Like all they do, like their actual LinkedIn profession is loiter in the Hot Topic, dude. Yeah, but for some reason, basically all the kids, so in the very beginning, the emo kids, they didn't want to bite off more than they could chew. So there was a couple of kids who like sat at the front of the class and they were like super, I don't know, they were like easy targets, if that makes sense, or at least they were as easy a target as it goes in this situation. So in the very beginning, the emo kids were offering protection to these kids and these kids only. They basically went up and they were like, oh, like you're going to want this or whatever. And the kids started to fold. But day after day, the emo kids began to like expand their operation, and the Don behind the whole thing, Ben, we'll call him prime minister, we'll call him like head of the emo mafia, right? Which is just such a funny statement, bro. Like, I don't know what schools you guys went to, but yeah, my school never had an emo kid mafia, but maybe I'm the weird one here, man. I really don't know. Yeah, but anyways, right, every single day they got a little bit more and more courageous, let's say, or at least they got more and more, they felt like they had more power, which in some way they low-key did. Here's the thing, though, which is really important to know. So no one wanted to mess with the emo squad, with the emo gang, which to me makes no sense because these are like low-key the least intimidating people ever. Like, I'm not trying to come for them or anything, but I low-key am trying to come for them a little bit. Like, these guys were not physically intimidating at all. Like, I actually feel like I would laugh in this situation, which, I mean, the subscriber, as you'll see. The thing is, like, everyone, like, bought the protection. First of all, it was, like, 25 cents a day, so you bring in, like, a quarter or whatever, which isn't, like, a lot for one day, but if you do it for weeks on end, bro, you're actually giving them some actual money. And it was a good operation for, like, the emo, like, whatever, right? Here's the thing, though. They offered protection, but the thing is, Up until this point, no one had ever questioned it, meaning that no one had ever been like no and then actually gotten beaten up by the emo kids. So no one had ever like tested like the consequences of not doing what the emo kid mafia said, which honestly people should have done that a little bit sooner, and then they probably would have figured out how much of an absolute scam this all is. I mean, it was a scam the whole time, but it's protection from what? These guys? Lol. Anyways, though. So yeah, the operations continue to expand, and eventually, the emo kids made it to the back of the class one day. And that's where the subscriber Tom and his boys sat. So Tom was like the closest to the front of the, or he was in the back, but he was like the closest to the front in the back. I don't know if that makes any sense. But basically, he was the first ones, because he would notice that the emo kids were getting closer and closer to where he and his boys sat for the longest time. And Tom's like, no way they actually come over here thinking that I'm going to, like, be like, oh, yes, please. I don't want to be beat up by some, I don't know, 5'2", 300-pound guy who wears Hot Topic shirts and his hair is down to his legs, like, all black and has makeup on and is, like, writes poetry all day, inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. Like, dude, I don't care, bro. Like, honestly, dude, like fighting you, like, dude, I wouldn't even have to show up to the fight and somehow you'd still lose somehow. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, the subscriber has been watching as these kids are they're basically getting closer and closer to the back of the room where he was. And he's just kind of thinking to himself, like, there's no shot that these kids are actually going to push their luck more than they already have, which they have completely pushed their luck, like, way beyond any place where they should have. There's no way that they're actually going to come all the way to the back of the room. Well, turns out on this day, they came to the back of the room, dude. They came to the back of the room. So, yeah, the emo kid kind of, like, walks up to Tom for the first time and is like, hey, I just want to let you know that we're offering protection services. I highly suggest you get them. Tom's like, no, I think I'll pass. And at this point, like, the emo kid, like, at this point, there's been, like, one or two people who've said I've passed. So the default response is like, dude, trust me, like, I don't want to, like, threaten you or anything, but, like, you know, we don't, like, I've heard that, like, people who don't get the protection end up smashed into lockers. And when Tom heard this, he said, by who? You guys? Like, nah, I think I'll take my luck, man. Next. And at this point, the few people before who, like, were questioning the protection services, after the emo kid said that line, they were like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, they eventually, like, caved at that point. But Tom was like, dude, like, are you serious right now? You guys are scared of these squids, bro? Like, what the, like, what? Like, are you serious right now? Yeah, so anyways, right, he says no. And the emo kid, this isn't Ben. This isn't, like, the Don of the emo kid mafia. This is one of the henchmen, which, bro, it's like, first of all, it's mad embarrassing that you're in an emo kid mafia, but at least Ben is in charge of the emo kid mafia. Like, at least you're in charge of something embarrassing. I can't think of something more, the only thing more embarrassing than being in charge of the emo kid mafia is being a henchman to the emo kid mafia. Like, the only thing more embarrassing than being in charge of it is being a henchman to it, bro. Like, I swear. Anyways, though, so the henchman at this point had never, like, you know that line where it's like Plankton, like, steals a Krabby Patty secret formula, and then it's like, what do you do next? And that's where his plan fails. He's like, oh, actually, I don't know. I never thought I'd get this far. Kind of the same situation where the emo kids never thought that anyone would actually question their authority. Like, they never thought that, you know, oh my God, like, no, like, after the follow-up line. So basically the henchman's like, oh, dude, you really should. Almost like begging at this point. And Tom's like, no, like, me and also all my friends, I can speak for them. Don't even try with them. You're going to get the same answer. In fact, with some of them, you'll probably get a tender fist to your face, man. I'm just going to be straight up. Like, I'm the nice one here, man. I'm the nice one here, which low-key was true. Like, Tom was the most cordial of all of his friend group. Like, some of Tom's friend group would actually respond with, like, a boot to the face, bro. Like, Tom was actually doing them a favor by saying, yo, like, talk to me, don't talk to them, dude. So, yeah, the henchman's like, okay, you might want to reconsider, but I'm going to go talk to our leader, which, like, bro, what? Anyways, so, yeah, eventually emo kid turns away and walks towards to try and find Ben. Yeah, so anyways, right, sure enough, the subscriber Tom is kind of just sitting there and is kind of like, dude, like, okay. And so Ben, the emo kid, the Don of the emo kid, the head of the emo kid mafia, and Ben has been, okay, let me describe Ben to you for a second. Okay, I'm not coming for anyone. Like, I'm not trying to come for this kid. I'm just trying to accurately describe him. Like, when this story was submitted to me, like, this is just an accurate description. So, Ben is 5'1", which, by the way, shout out the Short Kings. I'm not trying to come for you guys. I'm just trying to, like, explain how not intimidating this guy is. 5'1", like, pretty overweight, hunched over. He has long black hair, but you know that haircut where it's like the Skrillex 2013 haircut where one side of his head is shaved and the other side is long and it's all flipped over on one side. Bro's also wearing like black mascara and like a nose piercing, which isn't even a real nose piercing. It's like one of those clip-on ones, which I'm not trying to shade you if you have a clip-on one. In fact, probably it might be a better idea, dude. But like, I'm just trying to describe this kid accurately so you understand that even though he's the head of the emo kid mafia, whatever, he's not actually that scary. And also, Tom is like 5'10", like relatively built. He's like a football player. All of his friends are football players. Like, dude, I'm not coming for anyone. Look, I'm not some like crazy dude who can bench 10,000 pounds and super intimidating. Like, I get it. Like, I am somewhat built like the Minecraft skeleton. Don't get me wrong. But all I'm trying to say is I'm not going around to like the football team saying, you should be afraid that I'm going to beat you up. So you better pay me 25 cents a day. Yeah, so anyways, right, sure enough, the kind of like the minion emo kid went to go find Ben, the kingpin, the master lord, the number one emo kid, right? So eventually, Ben, as I described him earlier, shuffles over, rolls, I don't he comes over, but it's not like a powerful stride. It's like the least intimidating kind of funny walk ever, and I don't really know how else to describe it besides that. Anyway, so Ben is like, so I've heard that you don't want our very nicely priced and generous protection services. And yeah, Tom's like, yep, that is correct. You heard me correctly. And he's just like, well, I beg you reconsider. I mean, it's just such a good deal. And honestly, the consequences of not taking the protection services might be more than you expect. And he's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm down for that. Yay, consequences, woo! At this point, Ben's like, okay, well, it seems as if, like, you were making a big mistake. I'm just saying it. Last chance. I'm going to count to 3, and after 3, I'm sorry, but you just can't buy the protection services anymore. 1, and Tom's just thinking to himself, dude, like, you really think that counting down to 3 is going to somehow magically make me go, no, please, artificial scarcity it's kicking in, I need this now. It's like, bro, come on now. This is like the most like mom tactic ever, like count down to 3 and it's going to work. Yeah, sure, man, it's going to work on your 6-year-old, but it definitely is not going to work on some kid who doesn't even want this nor care about you in the first place. Anyways, so he's like, 2, 2.5. Dude is actually going to count, like, he's going to have some kind of sequence that approaches 3 but never actually hits it unless you do it an infinite number of times. He's going to be like 2 3/4, 2 4/5, 2 5/6. Like, bro's going to keep counting forever at this point. Yeah, so anyways, right, eventually, Tom just looking at him with this look of just complete disinterest. So that's when one of the emo kid, like, minion type people, like, is noticing what's going on. He's like, hey, boss, do you want me to beat him up for you? And Tom looks at him and says, yes, I would like to see that. And here's the thing, though. Ben, like, even though he's, like, in charge of, like, the emo kid gang or whatever, so all of a sudden, or the emo kid mafia or whatever, like, either, like, at this point, we all know that Ben is not the brightest out of everyone, but he is the brightest out of the emo kid, like, out of the whole emo kid mafia. He is, compared to them, the brightest out of all of them. Which, I mean, if you choose to be a minion for the emo kid mafia, then you might actually have the same intelligence as a box of staples. But anyways, so Ben is like, no, it's fine. He's one of us. I think Ben here was trying to, like, not allow an altercation because, one, he knew the emo kid wouldn't do anything. And then Ben would kind of, not Ben. Well, Ben knew that the emo kid wouldn't be able to do anything. And even if the emo kid did try and swing, it would be so embarrassing that just, like, people would pay attention to, like, the fight or whatever and realize that they're buying protection against literally nothing. So Ben is like, oh, yeah, he's one of us. And then Tom's like, nope, not one of you guys. Just don't feel like paying for your protection because you guys are just not intimidating. And Ben's like, oh, well, yeah, same thing. And Tom's like, nope, not same thing. And the emo minion's like, my lord, like, you don't want me to fight him? Which, by the way, just, like, referring to someone as my lord is pretty funny. It's like, my lord Sidious, like, do you want me to fight him? Like, and Ben's like, no, he's, as I said, one of us. And Tom's like, once again, reiterating, not one of you guys, just don't care. And the emo minion's like, I think we must fight him, right? Right? And Ben is really like, no. Anyways, go collect the rest of the money from everyone else. So at this point, Tom's like, kind of gets an idea in his head. He's like, actually, no. Like, I'm going to make sure that you don't collect money from anyone else as well. At this point, Ben's like, what? Yeah, so anyways, Ben's like, okay, like, I was accepting your disrespect when you just said that you didn't want to, but now you're going after my whole business model. This is now completely unacceptable, and I'm not going to let you do this. So at this point, Tom's like, okay. I mean, here's the thing. Tom has literally just said okay every single time. Like, Tom is, like, repeatedly calling the emo kid's bluff and repeatedly, like, winning, bro. So at this point, the emo kid's like, oh, fine, you know what? Then it shall happen. After school today, we shall have a duel. And Tom's like, okay. Yeah, like, once again, like, Tom is just repeatedly calling the bluff. And the emo kid, I think the emo kid was, like, expecting Tom to, like, kind of weasel out of it a little bit and be like, oh, okay, no, I'll let you guys take all the money from everyone else. But Tom is literally just repeatedly calling these kids bluff. Like, Tom, I think, has said okay to, like, every single statement. Besides the one saying, give me money, he's like, no. And then they're like, we're going to fight you then. Okay. I'm going to fight you. Okay. You don't want, you want to buy this? No. Are you sure? Yes. Well, we're going to fight you then. Okay. Like, Tom is literally just so not intimidated by this. And so anyways, he's like, yeah, okay. After school. Sure. Cool. And the emo kid's like, are you sure? I mean, all you need to do is just, like, let us continue our very fine business operations. And I'd have no reason to fight you then. I really don't want to hurt you, Tom. And Tom at this point almost took that personally. He's like, no, okay. Yeah, show up to the business or, like, show up to the fight. And either way, I'm going to make sure you guys can't collect any more money. And they're like, and how are you going to do that? So then Tom very loudly yells, hey, everyone, I'm offering protection services against the emo kids, but instead of paying me 25 cents a day, it's literally just free. And the emo kids are like, because at this point, think about it. Like, the emo kids are, like, offering protection against them for 25 cents. But then Tom, who's, like, a lot more physically intimidating, and all of his friends are offering protection against the emo kids for free. Like, bro, you're definitely taking the for free package. And the emo kids are like, no, he's lying. He can't protect you guys. We're too strong and powerful. And Tom's like, no, you're not. They're like, fine. And Ben's like, fine. We will have a duel after school today. If I win, then everyone must continue to buy the protection services. But if you win, then they can consider having your protection services. Tom's like, okay. Yeah, dude's literally just saying okay to literally everything. Real quick, though, before we jump into the fight scene, which is pretty funny, comment emo down below. That will be the secret word of the day today. So go ahead in the comment section and comment emo. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you have left a like on the video to claim your free nothing and cringe goggles, as well as you are check to make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications on. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, which, by the way, YouTube people, I'm also on Spotify, link in the description, or you can just look up Connor Pugs. Honestly, I'm probably the only guy on there. Make sure that you follow the podcast and also rated it 5 stars, and go ahead and answer the Q&A poll question, whatever that pops up. And finally, I just want to say the best way to support the channel is sitting down and binge watching a bunch of videos on YouTube or Spotify or both. Just like sitting down and watching a bunch of videos or watching like one of my long compilation videos really helps out the channel. So please comment down below, like, if you are binge watching the videos, and also what do you do while watching a bunch of my videos in a row? Are you trying to go to sleep? Are you like, I don't know, drawing? I'm playing video games. I'm genuinely curious, so please comment down below so I can know. And with that being said, let's go to the epic emo kid battle scene. Yeah, so anyways, right, eventually the teacher comes in, so they all sit down. And so Tom is like, he's actually kind of getting excited about the quote unquote fight after school because one, he's not intimidated, but two, it also means an end to this really annoying emo kids gang squad, whatever type thing, right? Because while he wasn't actually like immediately impacted, like he wasn't paying them money because he's just not paying the money, bro. Like, come on now. However, it was really annoying every day to see them get away with this. And honestly, Tom's like, I probably should have done something about this earlier, but I mean, it's also not his problem at the end of the day. But yeah, so basically, right, Tom goes through the rest of his classes, and eventually the school bell rings. So, as was instructed, Tom went to the kind of like the playground courtyard area in the back of the school or whatever, and when he like opens the door to go there, there's already like a massive crowd. Because apparently the emo kids were like, the emo kid gang or whatever was not limited to only like Tom's first period class. Apparently it was like not every single class or every single student, but a lot more people than just his class. So word of the fight kind of spread. So obviously the people who've been paying the emo kids 25 cents a day are definitely very invested in how this fight goes. But then also, yeah, bro, if there's a school fight and it's like publicized, like some people are just going to go for a good show. It's like, I don't have to pay anything for the pay-per-view, bro. Like this is free viewing of like a YouTube, basically like who's going to be on the undercard, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of people were pulling up to this and it was a really massive crowd. So Tom's like, okay, sweet. I get to absolutely destroy these kids and everyone's going to see it too. So anyways, about 10 minutes go by. And Tom is kind of like, okay, where are these kids at? Is very clearly said right after school. Maybe, I suppose stuff in the backpack. Maybe he's getting ready. But 10 minutes, man, like, come on now. I was even 5 minutes late. It's 15 minutes after school. I do eventually have to go home and do homework and stuff, so I can't be waiting around forever. So basically, the doors open up 20 minutes late, or 20 minutes after school. So after another 5 minutes goes by. And it wasn't just Ben, the emo kid. It was him and 10 other henchmen. So at this point, Tom's like, yo, like, am I just fighting you? And Ben's like, no, we are the emo collective. We all 10 of us, we act as one. And Tom's like, dude, so you're too scared to fight me one-on-one, so you brought all your little henchmen to just, like, fight me all at once? And Ben is like, yes, now prepare to suffer. So people in the crowd were like booing and whistling, like screaming out like, that's not fair. Like we came for a one-on-one. And Ben's like, he says that he'll offer you protection, but can he offer you protection against 10 of us at once? I don't think so. And Tom is kind of like, okay, like, yeah, like, sure, whatever. He's like, okay. Because remember, these kids are really not intimidating. However, the thing is, Tom was bluffing a little bit because he was actually a little bit nervous because, yeah, they were all kind of built like little babies or whatever with like emo hair. However, there was 10 of them. So it's almost like that question of like, okay, man, how many babies do you think you could beat up? Like, yeah, if only one baby came to fight you, like you're probably winning. But what if 1,000 babies came? Like, yeah, like one-on-one, they aren't really doing anything. Even 10-on-1, but 1,000 to 1 babies, bro. Like, you might not be winning that. Kind of the same situation here. It's like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 emo kids would have been no problem. But 10 is really going to be a question mark. So anyways, Ben is like, all right, prepare for battle, my wizard friends, or whatever. I don't know. He said something cringe like that. He's like, they were like revving up. And it was like, dude, they were like, okay, this is like the funniest thing I'm about to describe to you. Okay, so 6 emo kids in the back started spinning around in circles really quickly. It's like they were trying to summon some like tornado god or something, bro. Like it was actually the cringiest thing you've ever seen. So a bunch of them start spinning around in circles. And Ben, who's like in the front and center, is like, tornado attack, commence. So the 6 in the back that are spinning around in circles start like moving towards Ben. However, the emo kids are so unbelievably coordinated that the 6 that are spinning around in circles collide with the 3 that are standing. So Ben is like standing to the side as if he's like a conductor, like conducting the orchestra. But the 6 spinning around in circles collide with the 3 emo kids who are just like awkwardly standing there. And then all of the... Dude, they all collide into each other. So the spinning ones knock into each other. And basically, by the end of like 30 seconds, every single emo kid is on the ground, like moaning from pain, and they're all down. They all TKO, they all TKO'd each other. Like they're all done. And Ben is the emo kid head, literally is standing there. His like mouth is slack, bro. His jaw is slacked. He's in complete shock because, yeah, he literally came in with an army of 9 other emo kids. And within 30 seconds, they've all knocked each other down like a bunch of bowling pins, bro. So anyways, like everyone in the crowd starts laughing. And like Ben is like, no, like this can't be. He's like, fine, I shall finish him off. So Ben like puts both of his arms back in like the Sonic dash Naruto dash or whatever type position. He starts spinning. He starts running towards Tom, like in a Sonic dash towards him with his like arms back or whatever, or like the Naruto. I don't know what it's called, right? And the thing is though, he was like charging at him head first, but because he was charging at him head first, he was doing so in a way that his head was literally face down, meaning the only thing he could see was the dirt in front of him. So he like saw where Tom was standing, sorry. Ben saw where Tom was standing, then put his head down, threw his arms back, and like Sonic Dash sprinted towards where Tom was. However, Tom's like, ain't no way, bro. He literally sidesteps like 1 foot to the side. Ben like runs right past him full speed and runs straight into a bush and then just like collapses. So yeah, Tom didn't even have to. Tom literally stood there and knocked out 9 of the emo kids and then took 1 step to the left and knocked out the final one. So everyone starts cheering because like no one was rooting for the emo kids, bro. No one was rooting for the emo kids. And so Tom's like, all right, man. I just want to remind you guys that my protection services are totally free. Don't get like scammed by these kids anymore. Don't give them any money. And if any of them come to you with a problem, well, I guess I'll just stand there and they'll, beat themselves up by the looks of it. So anyways, from that point on, actually the next day, the emo kids, like the whole plan was to pretend like nothing happened, but literally not a single person gave them money after that thing. Like literally not a single person gave them money after that whole thing went down. So yeah, sure enough, the emo kid cult eventually kind of like dissolved, and they were never heard from again. I mean, they all went to that school, but they never like addressed themselves as the emo kid cult. And for as long as Tom will be there will probably never be another problem with the emo kid cult ever again. Maybe.